Wow, okay. I feel like I haven't really sat down and chatted with you guys and answered questions in a while, actually. I thought this was the perfect time because I actually have some huge life-altering things coming up, some exciting things, some sad things. Obviously, you guys are part of my life. These are things that you're probably going to be made aware of in the future, in vlogs and videos anyways. So let's talk about everything. We're just gonna catch up on top of me sharing these life updates with you guys. I had you guys ask me some questions on Instagram, so any questions you guys have about anything that you guys want an update on or anything you guys have questions on, I'm also gonna answer some of those. Hi! Why is it every time? I swear, it's every time that I sit down to film a video. Look who shows up. Do you want to be on camera? You want to show them how cute and sweet you are and little and cute and cute and cute you are? How cute and sweet and little and tiny you are? Just want all the attention in the world. Say hi everyone. I love you so much. With all of these things coming up in my life and all of these huge changes, I am so excited. Like, you guys don't understand how excited I am, but at the same time I'm also terrified because usually I don't feel like I do well with change, but I feel like as I've been getting older, the more things I do, the more people I meet, the more places I visit, I feel like I have been so much more accepting of change in my life, and it's almost something that I kind of crave. I just reach a point where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of doing the same thing. Like, I need a little bit of a switch up. I need something to challenge me. I need something to help me grow. I need something to take me a step further. And so with that, I start a new hobby, or I travel, or I take a road trip, or I stay at an Airbnb, make spontaneous plans with friends. There always comes a time where I just like crave that experience, that feeling of growing, bettering, learning something new. But at the same time, I know myself, and a lot of the time change does take a toll on my mental health. No matter how much I can prepare for something, I can be ready for something, I don't know how it's going to affect me mentally until I'm there at that point, at that moment. But I think it also has to do with the environment itself, the people I'm surrounded with, the habits and the things that I'm focusing on, my routine, continuing to talk to my therapist, communicating all of the new feelings and changes and all that stuff. I feel like is just gonna help so much. With all that being said, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a mental health platform that provides online mental health services. You can get counseling and therapy services straight from the comfort of your own home, through your phone, through your laptop. I genuinely love BetterHelp. BetterHelp is what got me into talking to my therapist an actual routine in my life. I've told you guys before I started BetterHelp, I actually tried going in person, real life therapy sessions. I tried multiple therapists that I just didn't feel a connection with. Just the whole process of realizing it wasn't gonna work, not feeling comfortable with that therapist, and realizing that I would have to start the whole process again and look for someone else and have this conversation and schedule an appointment. And not to mention, therapy is expensive. It was just very time consuming and stressful, and the whole thing, like, I just started to get completely turned off by it until I tried BetterHelp and I realized how easy and simple it can be. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist that is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. All you have to do is go to their site. You can use my link, betterhelp.com/estrella. You answer a few quick questions and BetterHelp matches you to a professional who has years of experience working with people with struggles just like yours. One of my favorite things is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Like I said, if you're more comfortable just having a phone call, if you're more comfortable seeing their face and having a Zoom call, if you're more comfortable just chatting through the messages, whatever it is that works best for for you. You'll be matched with a therapist usually within 48 hours, so you can get started fast. And of course, one of my other favorite things is the fact that if you feel like you're just not connecting well with that therapist, they're not the right match for you, you can easily switch therapists at a press of a button at no additional extra cost. It's hard to match with a therapist on the first try, so I love that they have that feature. Whether it's a specific struggle that you're going through, depression, anxiety, losing a loved one, breakups, changes happening in your life, and you have been wanting to try out therapy for yourself, let BetterHelp connect you with a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. You can visit betterhelp.com/estrella. I will have that linked down below in the description box, or you can just go to betterhelp.com and choose my channel name, Melissa Estrella, and that helps support this channel as well as give you a special discount on your first month of BetterHelp. We love therapy on this channel. Thank you to them once again for sponsoring this video. Now let's jump right into this long ass conversation, shall we? First of all, why am I sitting here when I know I'm about to be talking forever and my mouth is gonna get dry? I need a drink. Hold on. Much better. So before I get into the questions then, I'm going to start off with the updates and just catch you guys up a little bit. First update is, I don't know, I have very mixed emotions with this, and it's hard for me to fully think about how I'm gonna feel until like the day actually comes. Right now it's just like, I know it's there, it's in the air, but I don't think it'll fully hit me until it's happening. My parents are leaving us. They're leaving us. They're disowning us. They hate us. I'm just kidding. No, my parents are actually moving back to Mexico. Obviously, my brother and I are gonna stay here. It's very bittersweet. Of course, it's sad. My mom has cried many times over this topic, and I know that it's really difficult for them to think about, but I just try to focus on the positive things that are gonna come out of this. My brother and I can obviously go visit them and spend time over there with them as often as we want, and that's something that I'm going to try to do super often, because even though FaceTime exists and obviously we're gonna call and talk to each other as much as possible, I've always wanted to, every time I would visit Mexico or me and my brother would go to Mexico, I've always thought about the idea of my parents also being able to be there with us. It's always an idea that I was like, okay, well that's not gonna happen because my parents are not US citizens, so if they go to Mexico, they just won't be able to come back here. Even when my brother and I went to Mexico this last time to go see our grandparents and our family and my mom's side of the family and everyone over there, seeing all the places where my dad grew up, my mom grew up, seeing all the beautiful beaches and everything, like I would just think to myself, like, I wish my mom and my dad were, okay, what the I did not think I was gonna get emotional. My period's literally supposed to come like tomorrow. So that explains this. Anyways, get it together. I would just think like, I wish that my mom and my dad were actually here for them personally to show us around and tell us stories and experience being in Mexico with us. Now that they are moving back to Mexico, that's something that's gonna be super special, like being able to go to Mexico and have them be able to be there with us and their parents and their families at the same time. I just know that it's gonna be beautiful, and I am looking forward to those moments. But then I obviously think about not being able to have our parents here with us for whatever it is, and I know this is something that our parents think about all the time because they're our parents and we're their kids, and obviously they want to be here in case of any emergency, in case anything happens. Like, they won't be able to come here and be here with us, or for any significant moments in our life, like us getting married or having our first kid. If and when I do get pregnant, I don't care. I'm flying to Mexico. I'm probably spending my entire pregnancy there with my mom, but whatever. That's way down the line in the future, so I try just not to think about that. I'm also very fortunate to have the job that I do have and to have you guys supporting me, because it gives me the flexibility to, if I do want to go to Mexico and stay over there and be around my parents for an entire month, I could definitely do that, or stay a summer at a time. Whatever it is, I can easily work while I'm over there as well. We'll have a reason to go to Mexico now so often. I love love being there, and being able to be there with my parents is gonna be amazing. They're planning on leaving this year, towards the end of the year. They're in the middle of selling their home right now, figuring out all that stuff. I know my mom is sad to not be able to be here with us, but I think she's also really excited and looking forward to just being around her family, seeing her parents, seeing her family. My mom has literally no family here. Her entire life being here, she has been around solely my dad's side of the family, and we were raised around my dad's side of the family. I think she's definitely gonna feel more at home. But yeah, so that is the first update. I try not to think about it too much because then I get emotional. So that's a life change right there. And then the second update has been up in the air for a while, but I didn't want to tell you guys until it was 100% for sure, 100% finalized. This is why I believe that everything happens for a reason. I truly, truly believe that. I have always said that to myself. Even when something bad happens, I'm like, that's okay, because everything happens for a reason. Whether you know it in the moment or you figure it out later on. I need to get that tattooed on me because I always say that sentence to myself. Everything happens for a reason. It really does. Last year when my lease was ending, I was trying to move to the city, try to be a city girl. I was trying to move to Seattle and just experience, you know, the city life for a little bit and be around people outside all the time, and being able to go downstairs and go to a cute little coffee shop and be able to see rainy Seattle through huge windows. That's still something that I want to do at some point. I have so much time and so much life and so many decisions to still make. I have been talked about over and over again by my parents about buying a house, just finding a place where I can just settle down. But I don't know what it is about buying a house that just feels it's a huge commitment. Some people like the idea of buying a house and that's it for them. I'm the type of person that, like, I get bored. I get tired of staying in one spot, renting and living in an apartment. I love it. Like, this is the era that I'm in. I could probably save much more money if I owned a house, but at the same time, I would probably be miserable, because being able to say, oh, my lease ends at so and so time, and being able to pick up and move to wherever your heart desires at that moment, I just love that. I love being able to experience new environments and new places. Renting is just for me, baby. I don't know. I don't care if I'm able to do it. It's what I'm gonna do because it makes me happy. So maybe at some point later down the line, I will move to Seattle and try that out and just see. You know, life is all about trying new things and seeing what works. I don't want to buy a house until I want to settle down, until I want to buy a forever home, until I am buying it with someone that I see the rest of my life with. Anyways, Jesus, I just went off on a whole tangent. Point is, the update is my lease is coming to an end this fall. Last year, at the end of the year, I met this girl named Jocelyn, and she has become like a really close friend of mine. She had brought up the fact that she was applying for different schools and she had actually been accepted to a school in San Diego. She was actually really thinking about going to San Diego and living there. At first, when she told me, she just explained that she was looking for roommates that already lived in San Diego, and she was gonna just try to room with someone there, because I don't know if you guys know, but rent in San Diego is even crazier than it already is everywhere else. So to live on your own in San Diego, especially as a student, is nearly impossible. It's just the smarter choice to have a roommate. I was super happy for her. I was like, I'm excited to visit you there. I've never been to San Diego before. It's gonna be really fun. And then the last time that I went to visit her in Portland and we hung out for her birthday, she brought up the idea to me about whether I would want to move to San Diego, because both of our leases end the exact same month. So she brought up the idea whether I would want to be roommates and move to San Diego with her. And at first I was like, that would be so fun, but I wasn't thinking too much into it. I was like, there's no way. Like, I've never moved out of state before. It was a lot to think about in the moment. And she was like, just think about it, okay? Like, in the meantime, I'm gonna send you places that I'm looking at. You just think about it and let me know. And I was like, okay. The more that I thought about it, the more that I was like, The way that I make decisions like this is I make a pros and cons list. When I finished making the list, the pros heavily outweighed the cons. I was like, wait a second. One, I would not live or room with anybody else other than Jocelyn because her and I are very similar. She has a very hectic schedule with work and school, so I wouldn't get tired of her because she's not going to be home all the time. She loves Harley. Harley loves her. She's very clean. We have very similar styles in like home decor, clothing, makeup, literally everything. We get along very well. We have very similar interests and hobbies. If I was rooming with anyone, it would make sense that I would room with her. Two, if I moved to Seattle by myself, I would be paying the same amount of rent that I would be paying in San Diego basically, except I would be paying it all on my own. So being able to have a roommate, I would actually be saving money. So that's another plus. It'd also be amazing for my job, my channel, all the content that I would be able to create there. Just being in California, being in that environment would be a huge plus. That's also another reason why I feel like I crave change, is because when it gets to the point where I feel like my content is becoming a little bit repetitive, or it's just kind of like the same setting, the same environment, I like to switch it up by staying somewhere new, traveling somewhere new, and I feel like being in a whole new state that I have to explore and create content in, bring you guys along with me. It would be so exciting and so stimulating for my brain in regards to like creating. It opens up a whole new door, and I love that. It is gonna feel like I'm leaving my brother alone, which he's not alone because we have all of our family, all of our cousins and everyone, his friends, his girlfriend, and I can visit him and he can visit me whenever he wants, just like I'm gonna come visit my friends here all the time. And I would basically be in between my brother and my parents. I could easily take a quick flight here, take a quick flight to Mexico. It's terrifying and stressful to think about, just the whole move and everything. I just recently hired a moving company. I've scheduled the pickup date, so all of that is already 100% confirmed. Jocelyn and I are actually going to tour some apartments that we've been looking at beginning of July, so I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. So that's gonna be exciting, and I think my excitement outweighs the fear so much more. I think it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be great. Whether it takes me some time to get adjusted, everything will work out. And if it's not meant for me, then it's just not meant for me. I gotta realize that it's not that serious. I love Washington. This is my home. It will always be my home, and it'll always be what makes me feel comfortable. So whenever I need to feel like I'm at home, I'm gonna be flying back here. There's a lot happening towards the fall and end of the year, but as of right now, I'm just trying to take it day by day. It is summertime. We gotta do some summer activities, enjoy the beautiful weather that Washington has to offer in the summertime. Whenever the time comes to move everything, pack everything, be stressed about that, you guys will be there with me. So you guys can take on some of the stress as well. Okay, moving on to some of your questions. First question, how many books have you read / expected to read by the end of the year? My New Year's goal at the beginning of this year was to read at least 26 books by the end of the year. I have not been keeping track of how many books I have read this year. I'm gonna have to look back because I recently grabbed all of my books and started storing them in here. I just kind of like mixed all of them up, so I don't know exactly how many I've read so far. I know I'm definitely not to where I should be, because there was like a month where I kind of like took a little break from reading. And then another book related question. I love this question. I have never answered it before actually. I got top 5 book recommendations and top 10. So I'm gonna do top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I realized while looking for these though and looking through my books that there are some books that I want to reread just because I don't remember too much of how it ended or what some of them were about. So I think I need to reread some of them. As far as I can remember, these are the ones that I can think right now off the top of my head that I really enjoyed reading. First one is actually this one, and I had completely forgot about this book, but this book, it was so interesting to me. It's one of those books where you just kind of feel like you're going crazy along with the character. It's just very mind-bending. I'm pretty sure it's like a psychological thriller. I don't remember the ending too well, but I'm pretty sure it was like a really sad ending. Now I really want to reread it again. It's The House in the Pines by Anna Reyes. It's basically about this girl who struggled with a drug addiction, I believe, and then she meets this guy that she's automatically so intrigued by, but there's definitely something like off about him. It's really interesting where the author takes the story. I love this book. The next one is this one, Don't Mind This. Harley decided to have a go at this when she was a puppy in her little chewing phase. I love this book. This book made me fucking sob. I think that books that make me sob always get rated higher because I can feel the actual emotions of the characters. Really sad. Has to do with this girl who her brother ended up dying because he fell from a 40-foot stairwell, but there was one person there that witnessed the whole thing, and it was his girlfriend at the time. She just thinks that something is a little off with the girlfriend and something just ain't right. It's a really sweet, sad story. Definitely a book I would reread. Next, of course, one of my all-time favorite books is The Silent Patient. I love it. Not only is it so good, but it just holds like sentimental value to me because my brother got me this book on Christmas. I feel like it was one of the first books that I read that I was like, oh my god, like my jaw was on the floor. It's what really got me in love with reading again. So many of you have read this book because of my recommendations, so I love that. Next, of course, we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. This is a little series. This is the first book. So if you want to start a little thriller, true crime, fiction series, this is a nice one to start with. As you guys know, I'm not much of a romance genre type of girly. Most of my books are depressing and sad and terrifying, and that's just what I usually love to read and watch. But every now and then I come across a little romance book that just makes my heart flutter a little bit, and these two have definitely done that for me. This is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. You guys know I love this book. Still my favorite book from her. Such a sweet story. I love it. Not cringy. Doesn't make me gag. If I could have a guy, a perfect man, it would be Jacob Maddox from this book. And of course, one of my recent reads, this is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. Amazing romance book. It's a love story, but it's a sad story about falling out of love more so than like people falling in love. It gets really real, raw, emotional, happy ending, but very realistic and not cheesy, and I love that about this book. So good. And last but not least, if you want to sob your heart out, you feel like you need a good cry, this book is very intense. It gets gruesome. It is about girls that go missing. Some crazy stuff, but it's very, very sad. There's points in this book where it's talked about from the point of view of the father, and it just, it gets to me. Those are my top 7 book recommendations. How is love life going, girl? I hope much better than mine. Probably not much better than yours. My love life is back to being kind of non-existent. As I mentioned in the Get Ready With Me that I filmed before this video, I decided to take a break from dating, and the reason for that is because I am moving to another state, so I just don't really see the point in continuing to date here. I don't think that I'm a long distance relationship type of girl. No more dating in Washington. We'll see what my love life looks like in California. How have you felt mentally, emotionally? Hope you are doing amazing. As of right now, I'm doing good. The weather has been amazing. I've been enjoying the sunshine. But right after I got back from Puerto Rico, actually, I kind of felt like I was slipping back into a depressive episode. And I think it was one, the change in scenery and just like being back home, back to regular life. It always kind of like, after being gone on vacation for a while, like getting back home and getting back into the swing of things, it takes me a while. Like, I'm not the type of person just to be like, okay, next day, ready to go, back on my shit. I need a week to recharge from socializing every single day, just like relax, take care of myself physically, mentally. I was struggling a little bit, not gonna lie, and also because my period's also around the corner, like I've been a little bit of an emotional wreck, but that's okay because We all have breakdowns. We all have bad days. I'm starting to feel back to my normal self again. As of right now, I'm feeling pretty good mentally. How old are you now? As of April 27th, I am 26. I keep thinking that I'm 25 still. I'm just not used to saying, oh, I'm 26. This person asked 3 questions actually. Second question, do your exes ever try talking to you again? Exes always come back and always try to work their way into your life. It's always happened in every relationship that I've been in. So the answer to that is yes. And what's your favorite comfort food? My go-to comfort food would either be like something my mom cooks or some sort of pasta dish. I love pasta. I love carbs in general. Like if I could just eat carbs every single day and be completely healthy, that would be a dream. That's the superpower that I wish that I had. New to the dating world, girl, how do you meet men? I don't like clubs. Do you recommend dating apps? I don't recommend clubs to meet someone to date. Bars, maybe. I do recommend dating apps, actually. A lot of people are terrified of dating apps, but I feel like it's the quickest, easiest way to get to know people in your area. Just see the options that are out there, you know? What is some advice that you wish your younger self would have known? That's a good question, actually. I would probably say, don't take life too seriously. Do things that are fun. Make as many memories with friends, family as you can. I would also say, don't care so much about what anyone has to say. Don't care so much about anyone else's opinions. Be yourself and do what makes you happy, whether other people agree with it or not. It does not matter. In terms of advice, I think that's what I would say. In terms of reassuring, empowering words for my younger self, I would have so many things to say. Noticed you wearing a cross recently. Where are you on your journey with Jesus Christ? If you ever see me wearing any jewelry with a cross, it's just solely for the fact that I love that piece of jewelry. I have a cute little dainty silver necklace that I just think is cute and it goes with a lot of things and I like how it looks, so that's why I wear it. Did you meet any men in Puerto Rico you would want to go for? I did meet some men in Puerto Rico, but I was not going to Puerto Rico with the intention to eventually date someone from Puerto Rico. Definitely not trying to start a long distance relationship. Anyone that I met there was just for a good time, not a long time. And that's it. I don't think anyone's traveling to Puerto Rico with the idea that they're gonna find the love of their life. Maybe, I don't know, but that was not my intention. Are you planning to get married and have a family? At this point in my life, that's just not something that I'm really thinking about. Every now and then it pops into my brain, but it's never something that I'm like, I want it now, I feel bad for not having it now. I just want to live as much life as possible independently without having to worry about the responsibilities of having a family, of having kids. But eventually in the future, I think I would love to have a husband and have a family of our own. I think it's important to realize and remember that everybody is on their own path. Everybody has their own opinions and their own choices of what they want to do, what their future looks like. The topic and the question of when are you having kids, when are you getting married, it can be a little bit insensitive because you never know if someone's even able to have kids. I don't know if I'm able to get pregnant. I won't know until I'm at that stage in my life. One of the things that I've actually given more thought to the older that I get, if I ever do have kids or start a family, I don't know if I really want to get pregnant. My opinion on that might change the older that I get. I think something that I would be really interested in would be adopting kids or even fostering kids. There's so many kids in the world that don't have anyone to guide them, anyone to care and love for them, and it's really sad and really unfortunate, and if I could help out in that way, I think it would be really fulfilling. I guess we'll see what happens in the future, but I think adopting is an idea that I'm really thinking about. A couple more questions and then we'll be done because this video is getting a lot longer than I intended. Are there any movies or TV shows you've been enjoying lately. Recently, I binge watched all of Mike Flanagan's shows on Netflix. The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor, Midnight Mass. I had already watched them before, actually. I'm a huge fan of Mike Flanagan's work. I have watched almost all of his movies. I love his shows. It's a very like specific genre of like mind-bending psychological thriller with a touch of horror and paranormal, a little bit up, so I love it. As of recently, I started the show Bloodline on Netflix. I'm on season 1, episode 6 right now. It's a drama, mystery, thriller. Last question, how has living alone and doing things alone benefited your mental health long term? Whew, let me tell you, it has its ups and downs for sure. There's times obviously where I feel more lonely or I get bored or sad, but at the end of the day, I would not trade having lived alone all the years that I have for anything, because it's taught me so much. I have learned literally so much about myself. It's made me so much more independent. It's made me push myself out of my comfort zone. It's made me challenge myself in new ways. It's made me feel more comfortable going out alone. It's made my social anxiety so much better. It's made me more confident. It's made me realize that anything that pops up that I feel like I can't do, that I'm stressed about, that I'm struggling with, I know that I will be able to overcome it. I will be able to get it done. I will be able to get to the other side of that obstacle and look back and be like, holy shit, I did that. It's done so many positive things for my mental health. I've always been very independent, even as a child, honestly, as far back as I can remember. I think it's being forced to do things on my own, being the oldest child of 2 parents who came to the US in their early 20s, knowing no English. As soon as I could read and talk, I had my parents asking me to translate things. I would go with my mom everywhere and I would need to translate legal things, medical things. I remember being little and hating having my mom be like, ask them this, and I'd just be like, oh, I don't even know how to say that. I don't even know if that makes any sense. Learning how to do homework in whatever grade I was on my own, because I had no older siblings. My parents couldn't help me, so everything I just had to kind of like figure out on my own. A lot of things I helped my parents with, a lot of things I helped my brother with growing up. That's just what's made me the person that I am today. I feel like whatever I want, whatever I need, whatever I want to accomplish, I can do on my own. I rely on myself for motivation. I make my own schedule. I take care of my own pet. I take care of my own bills. I make sure everything stays clean. I make sure I'm there for my friends. I make sure I'm there for my parents, especially this one right here, because she needs me for absolutely everything. She gets to live here for free and eat for free, eats, sleeps, poops, and runs around. Sometimes I wish I had your life, Harley. I really do. I'm like licking my arm. But anyways, that is the end of this video. Thank you for being here through all the changes in my life. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for spending any of your time on my content at all. It means the world to me. I love you guys. I hope that you continue to support me. Thank you for staying here and watching this entire video. If you made it to the end, comment down below the little moving truck emoji. Enough rambling. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Toodles!